What if the internet just stopped working? Like, one morning, you wake up, check your phone, and nothing. No Wi-Fi, no data, no social media, no online shopping, not even cat videos. The entire internet just gone. Let's take a minute to think about what would happen. Spoiler alert, it's not going to be pretty. First things first, people would panic. We're not talking about a minor freakout. We're talking full-blown chaos. Everyone's glued to their phones these days. So imagine the scene when suddenly all those little apps and notifications disappear. The horror. People would be restarting their routers, calling their service providers, and turning their phones on and off like 100 times. Maybe it's just my connection? Nope. It's everybody. The internet is down worldwide. Permanently. Social media? Gone. No more checking Instagram to see what your friends are eating for breakfast. No more Twitter arguments about which Marvel movie is the best. And you can forget about TikTok dances. What are people going to do now? Make up their own moves in front of an actual mirror? That's not nearly as satisfying. And let's not even think about the influencers. Imagine the crisis when they realize they have no audience left. No more likes, no more shares, no more followers. They'd be sitting in their perfectly arranged, aesthetic rooms, wondering why the world feels so quiet. The first day without the internet would feel like a minor inconvenience for some, but for others, it would be a nightmare, especially for the people who've never used a paper map in their life. How do you get anywhere without Google Maps? People would be driving around in circles, desperately trying to find the nearest coffee shop, only to realize they've passed it 3 times because there's no GPS to guide them. And good luck ordering that iced latte online. Speaking of online orders, imagine the delivery scene. The day before the internet disappeared, you ordered a pair of shoes. You've been tracking them obsessively because, let's be real, half the fun of online shopping is seeing where your package is every 5 minutes. But now, you have no clue where your shoes are, and, surprise, they never arrive. Online shopping is done. No more scrolling through Amazon at 2 a.m., debating whether you really need a portable blender. Spoiler, you don't. Businesses would be in total meltdown mode. The entire world economy has pretty much gone digital. If you think the office Wi-Fi going down for an hour is bad, just imagine the chaos when every company loses access to emails, cloud storage, and online banking. How do we pay people? Wait, where are the spreadsheets? Managers would be frantically flipping through physical paperwork, like actual paper. You know, those white rectangular things that collect dust on the corner of your desk. It turns out, running a company without the internet is like trying to steer a ship without a captain. Sure, it's possible, but it's going to be a disaster. Education? Gone are the days of Zoom classes and online learning platforms. Kids would actually have to go to school. Like, physically. Imagine explaining that to a teenager who's gotten used to rolling out of bed 2 minutes before class and logging in with their camera off. Wait, I have to wake up at 6 a.m. and go somewhere? And teachers? Well, lesson planning is a lot harder when you can't pull up YouTube videos to explain things. Suddenly, chalkboards are cool again, and the overhead projector makes a comeback. Welcome back to the 90s, everybody. For those of us who rely on streaming for entertainment, the internet's disappearance would be a total nightmare. No more Netflix marathons, no more Disney Plus binges, no more late-night YouTube wormholes where you start with a cooking video and end up learning about ancient Egyptian mummies. Instead, people would have to, brace yourselves, go outside. Yes, the place with the sun and the air. Without the internet, people would be forced to rediscover the joy of nature. Hiking trails would be packed with confused people who've forgotten how to entertain themselves without a screen. Birdwatching would make a huge comeback. Maybe even Frisbee. Who knows? And then there's gaming. Gamers would be devastated. No more multiplayer battles, no more raids, no more bragging to strangers online about that one epic headshot you landed. Gamers everywhere would be crying into their controllers, mourning the loss of their favorite virtual worlds. Back to board games and puzzles, I guess? Chess. Anyone? Monopoly marathons might become the new gaming experience. Until, of course, someone flips the board because that game always ends in tears. Now let's talk about dating. No more Tinder, Bumble, or any of those dating apps. You'd have to meet people the old-fashioned way, by actually talking to them, in person. Hi, My name is, I haven't done this in a while. What do people say these days? Flirting at the grocery store might become a thing again. Hey, I see you're buying avocados. You must like guacamole. Me too. Super smooth. Singles would be forced to rediscover awkward small talk and group outings in real life. But the real kicker? Memes. No more memes. No more sending your friends funny pictures of cats or that one guy blinking in disbelief. Memes are the internet's way of making life bearable, and without them, how would we communicate our emotions? How would we share inside jokes? Post-internet era would probably see a rise in hand-drawn doodles, passed around like ancient scrolls, each one more ridiculous than the last. Let's not forget the people who use the internet to answer everything. You know the type. They Google things like, what's the weather going to be like in exactly 2 weeks? Or how do I fix my sink? Without the internet, people would have to actually figure things out. No more searching for life hacks or tutorials. Want to know how to cook a lasagna? Time to call grandma. And when your phone stops working, who are you going to call for help? You'll have to dig out that ancient artifact known as the Yellow Pages. That's assuming you even know how to use it. Libraries would suddenly be the place to hang out. Imagine the rush to the library when people realize they need books to find information. The aisles would be packed with people dusting off encyclopedias and flipping through dictionaries. You might even see a black market of USB drives and hard copies of Wikipedia pages. People sneaking into basements, whispering, "Pust, I've got a printed list of dog breeds. You interested?" Social interactions would go back to the way they were before. You know, talking face-to-face instead of texting. At first, it would feel super weird, like, what do you mean I have to actually speak to people? But after the initial awkwardness, maybe people would start to enjoy it. Remember how nice it was to have a real conversation without being interrupted by notifications or someone checking their phone. Sure, it would take time to adjust, but maybe, just maybe, we'd remember what it's like to be human. As days go by, people would begin to adapt. Neighbors would talk more, businesses would set up old-school bulletin boards, and kids would rediscover the joys of playgrounds instead of Minecraft. Board game sales would go through the roof, and people would get creative with entertainment. Maybe some would even start writing letters again. You know, with pen and paper? It sounds crazy, but it could happen. And what about our jobs? Imagine that. But hey, that's a story for another day.